Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift? We've got you. Guitar? Coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Hotel! Guitar. Reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party? Relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Welcome to our weekly press conference with head coach Terry Bowden. This week is homecoming. The Zips welcome Ball State on Saturday at 3:30. The game will be carried on ESPN 3. Coach, would you like to start with an opening statement?
Well, yes. We're looking forward to it. Getting back home, homecoming. A lot of our alumni and former lettermen coming back. And so it's always a great day for the university, homecoming, for a lot of reasons. And I've often said that one of the main reasons football exists at major universities is so alumni can be asked to come back to the school to see the buildings that they're asked to pay for and the things they're asked to do, and they get to come back and be a part of their university. And football games are a great way to do that. And so it's a homecoming for a lot of folks, and we'll have a lot of great things going on that day. Most importantly, it's another MAC game, our second MAC Mid-American Conference game, and they're all big, so it's another big one. They're all big because they mean so much in the Mid-American Conference to fight for your division. So Ball State, I think, is a very good football team. They are 2-3 like us. They played they've lost to some very, very good football teams, and just like us. And they come in knowing that this is an important game for both of us as we try to get stay in the hunt for the Mid-American Conference championship game, division title, and as we try to put ourselves in a bowl situation. So we take them one game at a time. This one is Ball State, and we're excited to play the game, but they have a very, very good football team. And we'll open, coming off a good win at last week at Bowling Green. I didn't mention the Bowling Green one. On Tuesday, I'm always stuck between, do we want to talk about the one coming up or the one we just finished up? But that was awful good, the win at Bowling Green as well. It's 8 years Bowling Green has beaten Akron, and to get that win there and to come back at the end and get the game like we did, I was awful proud of our football team. We came out fairly healthy, except for Warren Ball. We lost Warren Ball for the year. He had surgery yesterday. It went well. He believe it or not, broke a fibula again. It was not the same place, but that had good surgery. I believe I heard that surgery went well, and that our prayers and thoughts are with him. He's fought awful hard, and the circumstances have been real tough. But I think good things happen to good people, and he's good people.
What does it affect anybody or anything during the game when that happens, or just for a moment, or?
It happened first 6 or 8 plays.
Yeah.
The only thing is he got hurt second game last year. So Van Edwards and Manny Morgan have been our starting running backs. And so they go in and do exactly what we did the entire season last year. And they're very good running backs. We thought one of the keys to our season was that we had 3 veteran running backs coming back. Now, we don't have but one Warren Ball in regard to being 230 pounds. But those other 2 guys, Van is a little faster. Manny's very shifty, and they're both powerful runners. And so we can't replace the big back type of things we can do with Warren Ball. But I think these guys can. And then Deltron Sands is an exciting newcomer that we have back there too. So you can't replace the size and the power of Warren Ball, but you've got good running backs that are very capable of being successful in the Mid-American Conference.
What are you going to do? Is it going to be a running back by committee, or are you going to look for someone to get into a rhythm and feed the beast?
That's a good question, because I think with Warren, we had decided that if he can get it 35 times, we'll give it to him 35 times. Those other guys can be leg savers for a while and give us a little change-up of style. Manny and Van are both very experienced. And I think it'll probably be a little more sharing in those 2. I mean, and Deltron slowly getting some playing time. But I think those 2 will share. Although Van is number 2 and Manny is number 3. I think they both are very good runners in their own way, and so I think they will share a little bit more. Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about the play for the winning touchdown when Thomas went up the middle. Was that a planned play or was that improvised for the scoring play? When you look at the film.
Oh, when he scored, ran the football.
Right.
It was just a great read. You know, when we have a zone read, they call it in football. The zone read, you call a handoff up the middle, and if the defensive end squeezes down too tight, the quarterback has the ability to pull it out the last minute and take off around the end. Well, that one was a very, very good read. In fact, it was an unusual read because he read the backside. We had both ends coming, and he's only supposed to read the one on the left. He was able to have his eyes on both of them. And when the ends collapsed down to hit the play, would have gone for a loss because he could have handed it off. He pulled it out and went for the 11-yard score. It was just a good read. Quarterbacks have to be. You almost always see it happening inside the 10-yard line because people try to pressure your running backs and keep them crossing the line of scrimmage. And when they do that, if they come too quickly, they don't handle the quarterback. So we're not a big quarterback running team, but we have to. It is a part of our offense.
What was the reasoning behind putting Cato Nelson in the game? Just give him something.
Yeah, change the tempo, change the style. Cato runs pretty well. We had some running plays for him, and gives us a little kind of, although he is a quarterback, it has that wildcat feel to it where you get a good running back or a good runner at quarterback, and he's a good runner, and it was very, very effective. Moved us downfield. He even picked up a corner blitz that we had not worked on all week. We had worked on 2 or 3 weeks ago, and that was really good of him to do that because they fired cornerback. The wide receiver ran a hitch, and then he threw the ball, and that was a great adjustment. And so we'll try. That's something we can continue to do. We like both of our backup quarterbacks, Robbie Kelly, along with Cato, and Tommy's clearly number one. But that's more of a tempo change up. And if the other team has to work 10 minutes a practice on Cato, that's 10 minutes less they work on some things the other do. It makes more stuff the defense has to work on as what we do. So hopefully we can keep that in as part of our offense.
One thing that is since the Penn State game has really helped the offense from watching myself, your third down efficiency. Again, it was very well against Bowling Green.
Mm-hmm.
That has to help the offense, moving the change, getting those possession plays to just keep drives going.
Well, we're a very blue-collar offense. We're up in the MAC conference. We're pretty good in first downs and third downs, which means we're keeping the ball. I told our offense we need to be a little more productive. We did a few more big plays because that's everything now. You're getting first downs, number of first downs, and the percentage of our third downs is around 50%, and so 48 or so. And so those are two critical areas. And I've challenged our offensive players. So now we just need some more big plays, the explosive plays that change the scoreboard. And not just the clock and the statistics, and so. But the fact that our team has been very good at third downs, I think you got a fifth-year quarterback, and that has a lot. He knows what to do. I think he's done a good job on third downs, and we're trying to run the ball more, which is a lot more third and short yardage. You're not going to have a lot of third and 10s and have a high percentage of third downs, but if you got a lot of third and 2 or less, you're going to make a lot of those more than you're going to make your third and long. So I think that has a lot to do with it. We just committing ourselves to running the football more and trying to wear down the defense.
We sat here last week and we were talking about the 2 tight end offense. It seemed like that worked a little bit. We saw Booker catch a key pass, that was the third down play for a first down. Will we see it possibly?
That's part of our offense. I don't know that we'll see more or less, but we'll always see part of it. Anytime you add blockers, it helps your running game. And it's not to get into deep football terminology, but anytime the blocker is lined up inside the defender, it helps the running game. If the offensive player is lined up outside the defender, it usually helps the passing game and hurts the running game because they've got leverage. And so by putting 2 tight ends, they can catch balls, but they're in a position to block people outside of them a little bit better. So it does help our running game, and we've got Newman Williams our tight ends look like fullbacks. Right. Newman's 5'10 and a half, 255. Booker's 6'1 and a half, 270, 265, and can play football. So they don't look like your prototype tight ends, but they're very, very strong and big, and of course Brandon Junk has played a good bit and plays as well. So I think that's important. I think that of course most people in the country now are playing more 3 wide out tight end offense, even if they like to throw the football, to enhance the running game. And if you're going to enhance the running game, you need to throw to them a little bit. So hopefully we'll catch some more passes with these guys.
Switching gears, what do you have to do to generate a pass rush at this point?
Well, just, to pass rush is, to me, you can't, it's like Jamal Marcus. I mean, you either got one or you don't have one. Now, you can blitz everybody and play press and play zero coverage and bring more people than they can block. Most people in today's offenses are going to throw the ball immediately somewhere. They're not going to let you sack them. They're going to throw it immediately. So what you hope is when they count 4 rushers, which means they don't have to get rid of the ball quickly, one of your guys beats one of their guys. So the quarterback doesn't read blitz coming. Because when they read blitz coming, usually they're just going to throw the ball real quick. If one of your 4 normal rushers, or sometimes 5, so we need to continue to have somebody break out. Brian Rinke, believe it or not, he had like 7 pressures on their quarterback, and I think we had 1 sack. I think Gilbert had had 1 sack. I don't know if we recorded it. I think we've got some guys getting close. Jamal Davis is getting better and better at it, but he's been moved from a linebacker position to the defensive end position. Deontay Moore's been nursing an injury, and he's coming back pretty good, but. When that's more about you either going to get guys that get better and better at rushing, or you've got to be inventive and creative and get some blitzes out of your linebackers.
How much is that a health issue with Deontay, for instance? Is that across the line, or is it?
Well, he's a good pass rusher. We've got Simpson coming in, the freshman, also has that type of skill, but he's just a freshman. But Josh Ward, Jamal Davis, Josh Ward, Rinke, Dante. We just got to continue to get guys to put pressure on those quarterbacks. And now we played Iowa State, had not been sacked. Penn State, the Heisman candidate quarterback. I think Troy. Those are people that can get rid of that football, can protect pretty well, and so we did better against Arkansas Pine Bluff, and I think we got one against Bowling Green. But people they're getting rid of that ball pretty quick. I mean, when you look at Ball State, they lead the MAC. Winbush is the number 1 sack leader in the nation. They have some, and he looks like Dwight Freeney to me. That's what he is, 6'1", 240. But if you remember him coming out of Syracuse back in 2002, I just started working for ABC in New York, and I remember how good he was. This guy's he may be the best pass rusher in the country. And he has got 7.5 sacks himself. So that's the most. You got to find one of those, and if you can't, you got to manufacture it. You got to move linebackers around and try to double up and do some things like that. And then if you can just put pressure. But they also have they're one of the tops in the country in tackles for loss, and they're tops, and that's the same type of people that get upfield. We've been very good at that in the past. We got to find that guy.
At this point, what do you know about Ball State?
Ball State's very. Ball State's got a lot of young guys. Their staff. Coach New's in his 2nd year, but I think he's playing more freshmen than anybody in our conference. More than most in our country. A lot of young people. The defensively, I think they are very, very good. They're statistically right in the middle of the pack, but they've had a tough schedule. And offensively, if their quarterback's been hurt, Riley Neal has been their starter. He's been banged up a couple of weeks. He's the real tall one that ran real well too. And he's played 3 games. He's leading the MAC in percentage, 67%. So their quarterback, we'll be interested to see who's playing. We got to play whoever's there. Jack Milas is the 5th-year senior or junior, redshirt junior maybe, but he's the one that's been behind Neal. It might be a redshirt sophomore, but he's. I think Neal's the one they would like to go to. He's their starter, but I'm not sure what his status is. They've got a true freshman receiver that leads the nation in freshman receivers. More yardage, more catches than any other freshman in the country. And Justin Hall. And if I read their game notes correctly, they awarded him a scholarship during preseason. which was kind of interesting for him to be that good that early. But they're a very solid football team, and they lost to Illinois. Illinois scored with 2 minutes left to beat them 24-21, and then they lost a nail biter to Western Kentucky. Now Western Michigan, they lost their quarterback, and they went to Western Michigan, and Western Michigan got after them like they did us last year, and like they did almost everybody in the conference last year. So, that may be more of a statement about Western Michigan than it is about Ball State. But anyway, they're a very good football team, and like I say, we got to play our best football every week.
I'm just switching gears one more time. All losses stink, but given what happened in Baton Rouge this weekend, does that Troy loss look a wee bit different in your eyes now in the former fashion?
I think you always do that. That's a game coaches play, athletes play. I barely lost it. This team, even Iowa State comes back, and we're down 20-14, and we're driving at the end, and then they played Texas 17-7 on Friday night. You say, that's not a bad league. And we were playing in that league for 3.5 quarters. Then Troy, we go down there and play, and they've got 98% of their offensive firepower back, and we're out there ahead of them 17-16. And then when you see that score, the kids feel better about themselves. That's only natural. You should have beat that. You could have beat that team. Just hold one more time, you beat that team. They go down there and knock off LSU, and I think all those things build confidence. When you see somebody that you beat or played well go out there and you can feed off it. Now, whether that's just motivation or whatever, but that's human nature. But I think that always helps when you have a game that you look at the game. Well, if I just did this, we'd have won that game. We'd do that, and then all of a sudden they go down there to LSU and they're up 17-0, and it didn't look like a fluke. They ran for about 200 yards, and LSU usually has the best defense. LSU and Clemson always have the best looking defensive linemen in the country, it seems like, and they really got after them. So again, the key is what can help build our motivation, our confidence in ourselves, and what we can do to help us this week prepare and have a great feel about yourself.
Coach, you always talk about getting better from week 1 to week 2. What units got better last week, do you think, in that Bowling Green game, looking back at that?
Well, I still think our running game is getting better and better. I think our running game is just, last week, if you remember, against Bowling Green, the week before against Troy, we had a 3rd and 2 and did get it. We had about 3 or 4 first downs in our drive that ran their timeouts out and the clock out, and finally ended up having to just try to run the ball on 4th down to give them the ball back. But that was a good running attack when they knew we were going to run the football. And I think that was important. And I think our defense is getting better. We gave up some big plays in the red zone that we have to correct. They were all eyesight. Throwback, 2 of them reverses. Reverse back to the quarterback, reverse, pitch it to the quarterback, he throws it to somebody else. One of them was a wheel route by the back. That's 3 touchdowns. Or 2 of them were exact touchdowns. One led to a touchdown. So those are areas where we gave up big plays in the red zone, just not having our eyes where they need to be. But as far as the defense, I think overall play, it's getting better and better. And that's what's got to happen. I love to talk about offense, but if we're going to be a championship team, it's defense that has to lead the way.
Coaches always say, and you've said it before, well, we need to cut down on penalties.
Yeah, we caught them all down.
That's a pretty big improvement.
Well, and having been ahead, this is my 24th year, I think, as a head coach, and you go back and look at your record and you look at your penalties, and quite often it doesn't correlate at all. But when you're a team like us, it's got to be in a bunch of 60-minute ball games, and you've got to do things right. You've got to take care of opportunities to hold on the ball, get touchdowns. I felt it was becoming an issue because we had penalties. And so we had 5 yards in penalties in that game Saturday, which defense had none. And I don't know how you go from one to the other. It's very interesting because if you look at our opponents, our opponents lead the conference in penalties. So every time we play, not only do we have penalties, but our other team, our opponents have penalties. So I don't know what happens where both teams have a lot of penalties, because we lead the conference in the amount of penalties the opponent has against us. And I don't know if that feeds off each other or the way some people call a game or not. But last against Bowling Green, we had 5 yards, and that was. But we worked hard on not holding because we had 5 holding calls against Troy, and 5 holding, and I think a chop block, and we needed to get that corrected.
On the Troy game, you had 11 penalties.
11 total. That was just 5 holdings. Yeah.
5 holdings, but they had
16. Yeah. You know what? And I think you face it. Some people call them closer than others, and they call them closer than others for both teams. And I don't. Like I say, we need to correct the penalties because we're in a lot of tight ball games. We're trying to get better. We're trying to win close ball games. We got every. I've been honest with you, I've been on undefeated teams where you beat people so bad you don't give a flip. You're just knocking people around. The tougher you are, the crazier you are on defense, the more reckless you are, the more penalties you get. And I've seen a lot of undefeated teams. And I think if you look at some of our top teams in our conference, I'm not sure all of them are winning the penalty battle. But I know one thing: we need to. It's important to us to get over the when you're talking about finding a way to win ball games and as we're trying to do, and to get in that conference championship game, and we got to solve our penalty problems, our turnovers. We won the turnover. We had 3 turnovers and won 4-3. Now, one was our defensive back intercepted the ball and fumbled before he got, which you don't work. You got to work on ball security for your defensive players now. But basically, it was we won the turnover battle, and that's one along with penalties and turnovers that we've got to win. If we can't get sacks, we need to get pressures. We've got to make sure we get pressures.